They say size matters, but tell that to the guys who got folded like laundry by someone half their weight. From human skyscrapers getting kicked in the ego to shredded bodybuilders tapping faster than Wi-Fi, these fights prove one brutal truth: skill beats size, especially when size gets cocky. Whether it's a calm technician dismantling a monster or a scrappy underdog choking out a behemoth, MMA has given us some unforgettable David versus Goliath moments. So grab your popcorn, because these aren't just fights. They're modern-day myths where the little guy brings the thunder. Hongman Choi looked like he'd wandered out of a Marvel movie. Standing at 7 feet 2 inches and weighing over 350 pounds, he towered over Fedor Emelianenko like a skyscraper over a bungalow. But Fedor? He didn't blink. The Russian legend had built his legacy on defying odds and demolishing giants. From the opening bell, Fedor closed the distance with no fear, avoided Choi's hammer-like strikes, and took the big man to the ground.
Forehead. Every punch is huge. Even the peppery shots by Choi, they were huge punches with the size. And you can see this. Look at the mammoth fist here.
Then, with surgical precision, he locked in a textbook armbar and forced a tap at 1:54 of round 1. It wasn't just a win. It was a masterclass in composure, grappling, and fearlessness. Fedor wasn't impressed by size. He was too busy building his own myth. Imagine facing a man who weighs nearly half a ton and built his career crushing opponents in sumo wrestling. That's what Royce Gracie did on New Year's Eve 2004 when he faced the 484-pound Akabono, a yokozuna in the sumo world. But Gracie wasn't a stranger to size mismatches. He thrived on them. He slipped, slid, and swam around Akabono's sheer mass like a jiu-jitsu phantom. After some patient maneuvering, Gracie secured an omoplata, a rare shoulder lock, from the bottom, and Akabono tapped like he'd just landed on a pile of Legos. Technique greater than weight. Always. Zuluzinho was a walking mountain, 6 feet 7 inches, over 400 pounds, and the son of a legendary Vale Tudo fighter. On paper, he looked like the perfect foil to Fedor. But Fedor doesn't read scripts. At Pride Shockwave 2005, he blitzed Zuluzinho from the opening second.
Oh my gosh, that's it! Oh no! Oh no! Square right on the chin, knocked it right down. Quick, that's one of the quickest left hands I think I've ever seen thrown by Fedor.
After landing a few bombs, Fedor took the big man to the mat and unleashed a barrage that forced the ref to jump in. The whole thing lasted just 26 seconds. It was like watching a sniper take down a tank. Genki Sudo was never just a fighter. He was a performer, a philosopher, and a martial arts poet. Facing Butterbean, the 400-pound boxing sensation, was no small task, literally. But Sudo used flair, footwork, and strategy. He danced, he baited. Then, when Butterbean overcommitted, Sudo dove for the legs and attacked with a heel hook. Within 41 seconds, it was over. The eccentric warrior had just submitted a man nearly twice his size with elegance and ease. In UFC 3, the crowd didn't know what to expect when 200-pound Keith Hackney faced off against the 600-pound Emmanuel Yarbrough. What they got was chaos. Yarbrough bull-rushed Hackney and pinned him against the cage like a freight train. But Hackney escaped, scrambled, and delivered a relentless barrage of hammer fists and punches from top position. The ref called it off at 1:59 of the first round. The crowd erupted. The smaller man had survived the avalanche and came out on top. Minowa, also known as Minowa Man, had a mission in life: defeat giants. And Giant Silva, standing 7 feet 2 inches, weighing 385 pounds, fit that mission perfectly. In Pride Bushido 10, Minowa ducked and darted like a fencer. He absorbed early pressure, then timed his flurry with lethal precision. A combo of knees and ground strikes led to a first-round TKO win. It was just another head for the mantle of MMA's greatest giant slayer. The first fight in UFC history. No weight classes, no gloves, just raw chaos. Gerard Gordeau, a savate specialist, faced off against Taylor Tooley, a 400-pound sumo wrestler. Within seconds, Gordeau sidestepped a charge, landed a brutal head kick, and followed up with a punch that sent Tooley's tooth flying into the crowd. It was over in 26 seconds, a brutal introduction to MMA, and proof that mobility matters. Marco Ruas wasn't just a fighter, he was a tactician. At UFC 7, he faced Paul Verelens, a 6'8", 330-pound brawler known as the Polar Bear. Ruas went low, again and again. His vicious leg kicks shredded Verelens' base, and the big man wilted with every strike. After 13 minutes of calculated violence, Ruas claimed a TKO win. It wasn't flashy. It was surgical dissection. Ruas had turned the octagon into an operating room. Daiju Takase was only 170 pounds. Emmanuel Yarbrough was over 600. But Takase had a game plan. He stayed light on his feet, darted in and out, and peppered Yarbrough with kicks and punches. The big man couldn't catch him. And when he stumbled, Takase pounced.
You gotta be out of your mind! He nearly broke his neck. No, this is horrible. This is like Jaws. No, get out! Get out! Get out! Hey. Oh my God! Hey. Oh my God! He tapped out.
Earning a TKO win. It was like watching a fly outmaneuver a bear in slow motion. In a mass fight, where the only way to win is by knockout, Yi Long, the self-proclaimed Shaolin monk, faced the towering Hongman Choi. Yi Long was outmatched in every physical category, but he had speed, timing, and guts. He danced around Choi, landed sharp strikes, and frustrated the giant. No KO came, so the bout was ruled a draw, but Yi Long earned the crowd's admiration. It was a draw on paper, but a win in spirit. Struve had the height, the reach, and the youth. Mark Hunt had a chin made of steel and sledgehammers for fists. At UFC on Fuel TV 8, Hunt waded through Struve's range, ate some shots, and got inside.
Hunt looks very tired, but he's going for the knockout here, John. So huge shot, a little bit wobbly here.
In the third round, he landed a crushing left hook that broke Struve's jaw and ended the fight. Struve fell like a chopped tree. Hunt walked off like a man who knew it would happen all along. In K1, Nicholas Pettis was known for one thing: low kicks that ended careers. Facing Kim Young-hyun, a 7 feet 1.5 inches Korean giant, Pettis had no choice but to chop the tree down. And chop he did. With relentless kicks and pressure, Pettis wore him out and then finished with a knockout in round 2. David didn't use a slingshot. He used Muay Thai. Bob Sapp was all power and chaos. Minowa was all patience and technique. At Dream 9, Minowa avoided Sapp's early blitz, weathered the storm, then grabbed a leg and twisted. A classic heel hook sealed it. Just another notch on the belt for MMA's most iconic underdog. Semi Schilt was a monster, over 7 feet tall, a kickboxing legend, and nearly impossible to hit clean. But Gilbert Evil doesn't care about stats. He's chaos personified. At Pride 10, he launched a flying knee that stunned Schilt, then swarmed with punches for the knockout. The arena erupted. Size meant nothing when Evil brought war. In the fight game, size might give you an edge, but it doesn't guarantee victory. These warriors proved that brains, timing, and pure heart can topple even the biggest mountains. So next time someone says, "You're too small," show them these fights. And maybe lace up your gloves. Who's your favorite small fighter who shocked the world? Drop it in the comments. Hit that like button if you love the underdog spirit. And don't forget to subscribe for more fight stories like this one.